Increasing clouds tomorrow night with a shower late, low 25 to wrap the weekend. Couple of flurries come Monday morning, then clouds to start. Sunshine will return. High Monday, 46. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm Ruth O'Brien.
From local sports to national newsmakers, this is the show everybody is talking about. Live from the Granite State, it's Mike and the Hoss on the Pulse of New Hampshire.
Good morning and welcome to the Mike and the Hoss Show, powered by the M Shop on the Pulse of New Hampshire. I'm Mike Dene, and alongside Charlie Hossack, we are Mike and the Hoss. Dog texted us yesterday. He says we got a lot to talk about. He wasn't kidding. We got a lot to talk about today.
We sure do.
We're not getting everything in. I know that we're not getting everything in, but it's going to be fun trying.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. I'm looking forward. A couple weeks from now, we're going to be heading into Rendezvous with Dog because we're going to do the show in studio, and more importantly, I think we're going to be able to partake in the victory for the NFL picks. So thank you, Michael, for paying for our lunch. We're excited. And one of the things I wanted to mention is that today's trivia, Mike, is the Smoke Show Barbecue. And I think the three of us agreed that may be the place that we want to go to. So today you're going to get a chance to win the Smoke Show Barbecue gift card, but we're hopefully going to get to go there and what is it? Maybe the 22nd.
Yeah, looking forward to that. And also want to give a little shout out, pre-birthday shout out to Dog. His birthday's coming up.
Yes.
The big 4-2.
Yeah,
Robinson, Mr. Robinson, that's right. They wear the number 42 all day long on April 15th, tax day, and I'm going to finally reach that. I'm now older than I'm already older than a current sitting vice president. I am older than 8 NFL head coaches, and I am older than one baseball manager, the latter on my favorite baseball team, Steve Vogt of the Cleveland Guardians. So I'm getting up there. I can't believe it.
I know.
It is kind of interesting how coaching, especially in the NFL, has gotten so much younger that it's okay now for a 34, 35-year-old guy to be coaching an NFL team where, when we were growing up, if they were under 50, that was considered young.
Right. Yeah.
You're used to seeing Tom Landry on the sidelines or Chuck Noll or, Bill Walsh, gray hair, suits and whatever.
Right.
A lot of them are gurus that start off as like offensive coordinators, quarterback coaches. Like Ben Johnson's now the head coach of the Chicago Bears. I think he was born in like 1986 or 87. So relatively young. Sean McVay, another guy.
Yeah.
Is McVay younger than Johnson? I think McVay's still the youngest, isn't he, out there?
Maybe the youngest coach still in the NFL. That's correct. That's insane.
Hey, Charlie, a quick shout out. I had mentioned I'm going to a funeral after this. Somebody we mentioned on the show before, Joe Kalina, Hall of Fame bowler. We had mentioned him on the show, and I'm just gonna give him a little shout out and his family. He was a golf friend of mine for a long time, and he was significantly older than I am. But he's one of those guys that you aspire to when you get older to be able to do what he's doing. And you know what I'm talking about? That somebody who's active into his 70s and 80s, playing the tips on a golf course and incredibly competitive. So definitely a shout out to Joe and his family, or you will be missed.
Yeah. Mike, did you ever, I don't know if I ever asked this, did you actually ever bowl with Joe?
No, he hung up his bowling shoes and would not bowl again.
Okay.
Nobody knows the story on why, but we had a lot of fun, teasing him about what the story might be.
Yeah, that's great.
But he hung it up. So I did offer to my wife to do a bowling last night, and
really?
She turned me. Yeah, she turned me down.
Now, what type were you gonna do the big ball, the 10 pin, or are you gonna do candle pin?
I would rather do the big ball, but since she was coming, I would have been happy to do the candle pin. I would have happy to do that. So just whip that ball right down the aisle. So it would have been fun, but. No, we ended up hunkering down for a movie.
Good.
All right. Mike and the Hoss is powered by the M Shop, located in the heart of downtown Wolfboro, and can be found on the Pulse of New Hampshire radio stations and all over the world on the Pulse of New Hampshire app. You can always catch up and listen to our previous shows on the app, Spreaker, Audible, or Amazon Music. The Yum Yum Shop has over 100 varieties of fresh baked goods, including 6 different types of bread and a full-service ice cream bar, and, of course, their most famous item, the gingerbread cookie. Make sure to visit the Yum Yum Shop the next time you're in Wolfboro or online at yummyumshop.com. And while you're there, enter the discount code of Mike and the Hoss to receive 20% off a Gingy Box. You can join our conversation, 603-228-2080. That is 603-228-2080. And as Charlie mentioned, trivia at the bottom bottom of the hour is going to be the Smoke Show Barbecue House. So we'll be giving away a gift card for them. 603-228-2080. And please give us a call if you want to join in. All right. Why don't you go first, Charlie? It was opening take because if we have time, we'll get mine in, but I want to hear what you have to say. So opening takes are brought to you by the Back Bay Boathouse,
where you can enjoy delicious food and drinks right next to the lake. Don't forget to order the $5 Mike in the Hospitality Box during happy hour Monday through Friday from 3 to 5 p.m. And then just a quick shout out to our live stream sponsored by the Heinz Group of Philadelphia and London. Thank you, the Heinz Group. All right, my opening take, Mike, happens to be, and when we do the poll question later, it's going to be part of this, but Cooper Flagg, the great basketball player from Duke. He's 18 years old. I had a conversation this week with a friend who listens to the show. It was kind of just via text, talking about whether or not is Cooper Flagg going to enter the NBA draft at the end of this season. And it's funny because you just think automatically, yeah, well, why wouldn't he? Well, there's a little bit of, maybe we'll call it drama surrounding all of it. Part of it is Cooper Flagg's only 18 years old. He kind of hinted and he expressed a few weeks ago that he loves Duke. He's enjoying college life. He likes to be around his friends, and that he would actually maybe even consider returning to Duke next year. We know with NIL, name, image, and likeness, that Cooper Flagg is making a lot of money and potentially could make tons of money if he remains at Duke. The Duke deal that they estimate could be around $10 million next season. Now, that being said, he gets drafted into the NBA. The first-year NBA contract for most likely the number one pick is going to be around 13 to 14 million, and then as you go on 3 years, that's going to continue to increase, especially when he gets his second NBA contract. Staying at Duke, there's certainly concerns. There's risk of injury. There's also risk of another player coming along that maybe we don't know about. That's better. Obviously there are insurance policies that would protect, if he blows out his Achilles and things like that. But it's an interesting conundrum in the sense that what should Cooper Flagg do? What do you guys think? What should this kid do?
Well, it's definitely a different kind of conundrum than it was 10 years ago when there was no NIL, and that you were looking at, trying to come up with money for pizza versus signing a multi-million-dollar contract. It's just it's such a different world. I don't think there's anybody coming up, Charlie, because we would already know about him. It's just like we knew about Cooper Flagg last year at this time. We don't, that name is not coming. He is, by all accounts, there's Cooper Flagg, and then there's everybody else.
I agree with that.
And so he's going to be the number one pick this year. He's going to be the number one pick next year if he chooses to do it. It's just a different world now. If he stays in college, he's looking at a 35-game schedule. Mm-hmm. Hanging out with his friends. He is 18 years old. You're right. He's 18 years old. He's not 20, 21 years old. It's so different that I wouldn't begrudge him if he stayed. I wouldn't say, oh, that's stupid, you're staying. How could you leave that money on the table? Because he's not. He's not leaving the amount of money on the table that he used to. He can sign other contracts. He can sign with Nike. He can sign with Adidas. He can sign with Reebok. He can sign with Rolls-Royce. He can sign with anybody he wants to. Right. It's a different world now. So, yeah, why not stay? You play half the games, or less than half the games. Do you get to enjoy your college life? He's 18 years old. He's younger than both of our youngest sons, Charlie.
Right.
Why not? That's where I'm at. Why not? Dog?
I think he should stay because you get a quality major league education. I now understand that sports is now the college level is essentially a level of professional sports with NIL and transfer portal, this, that, and the other. But the college experience is the college experience. He's not going to get that staying at a Ritz-Carlton in Chicago, when he's with the either Washington Wizards or Chicago Bulls. I'm sure he's going to live that NBA lifestyle because that's how it is. But the college lifestyle is the college lifestyle in college. I think he should stay. But again, I'm not him. I'm not his agent. He's free to do whatever he wants. If I were him, I would stay.
Yeah. So I think I'm just more of a why not? Why not stay? It's just different now. And yeah. And then this actually leads into my opening take in a second here, Charlie. So
I think it's interesting. The three of us agree. Live your college life. You're 18. Go ahead and stay. You're going to be able to buy your pepperoni pizza. Don't worry about that, Cooper. It's totally like you said, Mike, totally different world. The kid's still going to make money, and he's still going to go on to the NBA and hopefully be successful. So Cooper Flag, in our eyes, stays. What do you got?
Well, I'm going to jump sports for a second on and we're just going to do mine quickly. Quinn Ewers, Ewers, one of the, highly touted quarterbacks in this year's draft. And there's not a lot of highly touted quarterbacks, but he'd be one of them. And he made comments at the combine, and we had talked off air that the NFL is always going on. The NFL is always going on. We're sick of it. But this more is about what college sports has become. His comments were like Cardell Jones. I don't know if you remember Cardell Jones. He said, we didn't go to college to play school, in regards to his academics. Now, he was asked this question about his academics by Mike Tomlin, the Pittsburgh coach, in his interview, and they all do these interviews, and that's what his comment was. He says, like Cardell said, we didn't go to college to play school. I was so disgusted by this comment that, like, what are we doing now? Why are we even calling it college sports? Why are we even doing it at university? Why aren't we just calling it really what it is, which is semi-pro?
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, Dog already said this, Mike. Dog made the point with Cooper Flag. Like, he has the ability. He's going to a prestigious university in Duke, so working on your education. But yeah, we're at a point now where these guys don't think about college as we're going there to get an education. I'm going to college so that I can get into the NFL. I'm going to college so I can get into the NBA and so forth. You're right. It's crazy.
Well, and we talk about the transfer portal a lot, and I don't know this, and then, maybe if somebody's out there who does know this can help us with this. When you enter the transfer portal, do your grades matter? Do your credits matter? Or you just, if you didn't go to classes this previous year, are you just in the transfer portal and you're eligible for the next year if you change schools?
I can't. I don't know. We don't know. I know we don't know the answer, but I can't imagine if I just lit it up on the football field and I'm a super stud, anybody cares how I scored in my organic chemistry class. Yeah. It doesn't matter. I probably didn't go because I went to the weight room. It just probably doesn't matter. It's just like they're looking at the athletic talent.
Yeah. And for these athletes, I guess, getting the money is a little bit better, but there is no more amateur athletics. It's just not there, at least in college. College should not be called amateur athletics because they're not amateur athletics. They're in any way, shape, or form. And we've talked about that. Recruiting now is not happening at the high school level. Recruiting is happening at the small college level and the junior college level. And it's not for the better. This is not an improvement in our society on what's happened in college sports.
Can I want to interject. You said it's, amateur sports has gone from the college level. I'm a little concerned that it may be starting to go from the high school level. I went to a local, not local, but a coffee place. It's a small franchise coffee place, and they gave an NIL deal to a local high school athlete. They're like, try such and such drink. It's, Charlie Hossack's favorite drink. I was like, oh my gosh, this kid goes to high school, 7 miles down the road from us. It's just, I mean, now they're getting compensated at the high school level for this.
It's not gone to a good thing, and I just see it. I thought there would be a transition when they were talking about paying the college athletes. It originally started out as a few $100 a week. That's what the conversation was. Enough money so they can go get a six-pack or pizza with their friends or, that kind of stuff. That's what the conversation started out as. And it turned into unlimited amount of money, sign whatever you want. And it's just that we talk about it all the time, the pendulum. And here we go. That pendulum swung way too far. And it's not good for college sports. You see these guys playing in college stadiums, and all these fans are rooting for them. They have no idea who they are. They're not in their classes. They don't go to the classes.
Yeah,
it's just you might as well go down to the Garden and root for the Bruins because your relationships with them are just as much. They're sort of representing the school, but really they're representing the brand because they don't go to school, so they're not representing the school.
Hang on one second. You know who does go to school? Cooper Flag. Cooper Flag goes to class. Like the kids actually, they had some interviews like, yeah, he's in my English 101 class. Like he has to go to class because at a school like Duke, you have to go to class.
Big man on campus.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally. Speaking of that, he's our topic of our poll question, right?
He is.
So let's do poll questions before we go to break. Dog, what did we have last week and what are we doing this week?
Okay, this was controversial and up until it actually happened yesterday. And on X, it was, should the Bruins trade Brad Marchand this season? 77.8% saying yes, 22.2% saying no. That was on X. The poll question ended yesterday, just before Marchand was traded to the Florida Panthers. On Facebook page at the Pulse of NH, it was resoundingly 80% no, he should not be traded, 20% saying yes. So
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and he's gone. We're gonna talk about it in a little while, but yeah, he's gone. That was, I mean, the Bruins did what we thought they should do, cleaned house, and that's exactly what they did. How about this week, Dog?
Should Cooper Flagg declare for the NBA draft in 2025? Yes or no? Just like that. Yes or no? It's your career, kid. You want to ruin it? The Washington Wizards. Be my guest. No, I think the Wizards are going to get the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
They're going to just luck into this, and hopefully he says no, because the Washington Wizards, that's where careers go to die. I wouldn't just say no.
That's awesome. All right, we come back. We're going to talk a little bit of New Hampshire sports and how the playoff structure happens in New Hampshire sports. So we will be right back with more Mike and the Hoss.
And if you're having trouble hearing us, listen anytime, anywhere. Just ask your smart device to play the Pulse of NH.
Hey, John, what does $1 buy these days?
Less and less, not much food and gas. With all the news about countries leaving the dollar standard, how are we going to protect our money?
At Alpine Gold Exchange, we offer a constitutionally protected sound money solution in gold and silver, including the gold back, a 24-karat gold note. With our online accounts, you can deposit, withdraw, and even get paid interest all in gold.
Sure, but what do I do with it?
Simple. You can withdraw the gold or liquidate it. We will ACH a payment right to your checking account. You can even get a debit card and spend your gold anywhere Visa is accepted.
Whoa, so let me get this straight. I can make a deposit, gold goes up in value over time, I get paid interest every month, and when I'm ready, I can spend it anywhere?
That's right. At Alpine Gold, we've made it easy to buy, invest, and spend gold in everyday purchases. Protect your money's purchasing power with gold. To make an appointment, call Alpine Gold Exchange in Manchester, New Hampshire at 603-836-8814.
The following legal minute is presented by McDonald Law, the official law office of the Pulse of New Hampshire.
Hi, this is Corey McDonald from McDonald Law in Hampton Falls. With these frigid temperatures, it's worth noting if you go out and have a little too much fun and want to be safe and not drive home, make sure you don't get yourself a DUI by accident. And what do I mean by that? What we're seeing more of is people sheltering in their cars while looking for an Uber or otherwise finding a ride and winding up getting arrested because technically they're in physical control of the car. So if you're going to shelter in your car and wait for a ride and be safe, do it in the back seat. Don't sit in the front seat. Don't be in physical control, because that's the law in New Hampshire. Our team of former law enforcement and prosecutors are ready to defend you. Reach out to us at macdonaldlaw.us. That's MacDonald law.us.
McDonald Law, the official law office of the Pulse of New Hampshire.
You can get it done cheaper, but you won't get it better when it comes to comfort. We were real go-getter when you call for plumbing and heating. The good guys are coming.
If extreme cold weather is expected, do not turn your heat down to save money. Turn up your heat an additional few degrees. With outside temperatures extremely cold, your heating system needs to work harder to keep your home warm. If you do have a problem, call Bow Plumbing and Heating Corp. Owned and operated by the Ives family since 1960. Master license number 478C. Bow Plumbing and Heating, 225-6929. 225-6929.
MBE number 0478.
You know, nobody doesn't like Bow. No plumbing and heating. Nobody doesn't like Bow.
Coming up at noon, we talk tech with Kim Commando. In the meantime, we're back to Mike and the Hoss on the Pulse of New Hampshire.
Mike on the mic, Hoss playing Floss, walk for a new night where the snow gets tossed, talking socks packed with a swagger of floss. Dedicated dads, coaches, no loss. The field to the ring, they know every blink. Teaching kids life and sports always in sync. Husbands grind, making time, never out at 8. Mike in the Hoss, legends quick to lift from the.
And the only place you could hear rap in New Hampshire is right here on Mike and the Hoss.
That's what I'm all about. I love the rap. Always liked rap, especially the old school rap. I'm a Beastie Boys, Eminem. Love that stuff.
Okay, I've never been much of a rap guy.
LL Cool J,
Vanilla Ice. Yeah,
but
I hear
you
I
know,
hear
LL
you.
Cool J, I like. So yeah,
Word to your mother.
yeah. There we go.
Let's. It's time for some New Hampshire sports. Brought to you by Bailey's Bubble.
Family owned and operated Bailey's Bubble in downtown Wolfboro serves the finest ice cream in the state from May through October. If you can't make it to Wolfboro for ice cream, you can still order their hot fudge, panucci, and butterscotch sauces at baileysbubble.com. My favorite is their homemade hot fudge. When placing your order, don't forget to tell them that Mike and the Hoss sent you.
So, Charlie, I wanted to touch base real quick. As you know, our hockey team, we're in the semifinals for Division III, and we got to buy into the semifinals. We were the 2 seed, and we got to buy into the semifinals, obviously, along with the 1 seed. And I'm a little down. Not that we don't deserve to be in the semifinals. I am not cutting down our team. I just don't know if it's the greatest thing in the world that a team should get a bye into the semifinals of a tournament. And New Hampshire, and I full disclosure, I don't know if other states do this, does this thing called the 70% rule, where they say, okay, if there's 12 teams in the division, multiply that number by 70%, and that's how many teams are going to be in the playoffs, and then they structure the bracket based on that.
Right.
And in Division III hockey, there's 9 teams. 9 times 7 is 63. 6.3 rounds down to 6, and so there's 6 teams that made the playoffs. I'm just wondering if they should be looking at that if there's not enough teams to have a full bracket. And I think in New Hampshire, a full bracket is at least 8 teams.
Mhm.
That should be a full bracket. That we should start thinking about combining divisions so that you can do it. Our boys grew up and our daughter, for that matter, and we played Division II at Kingswood, and inevitably, in the baseball season or the basketball season or the hockey season, less hockey because there obviously are fewer hockey teams. There's 17, 18 teams in a division,
Right.
and you make the playoffs. That was an accomplishment.
Yeah.
There's 8, 9 teams that didn't make the playoffs, and so you were working for that regular season to get into the playoffs. When 6 out of the 9 teams are making the playoffs, it just seems to take a little bit away from it. And I want New Hampshire NHIAA to be thinking in terms of full brackets for the playoffs. And so how many teams do they need for a full bracket? What could they do? And maybe the 70% shouldn't be absolute. If you have 19 teams, fine. That's great. Do the 70%. But when you don't have enough teams, then maybe we should be thinking in terms of combining some divisions. Your thoughts?
So my thought, I have a couple of thoughts. I mean, one of the obvious thing that I just immediately thought of was just let in a small division like Division III hockey in the state of New Hampshire, just everybody makes the playoffs, and that way your one's playing your 9 or whatever it is in Division III, so that everybody makes the playoffs. The other thing I was thinking about is taking a look at the Division II hockey, and maybe those bottom tiered teams, maybe you just drop those guys down to Division III, because in New Hampshire we look at everything through the eyes of population, right? Determining the division. So maybe the teams that are at the bottom of Division II hockey, and it'd be boys only because there's only one girls division in hockey in the state, that maybe they bump down to Division III, and that way it improves. You're right. It improves things where making the playoffs really means something.
And there was discussion about going to 2 divisions, a Division I and a Division II, where they would take the larger Division II schools and move them up to Division I, and then the smaller Division II schools and move them down to Division II. And I thought for sure it was going to happen, just based on the fact that not only were there 9 teams in Division III, but we played a team, and we talked about it last week, that showed up with 6 kids.
Right.
If it's not sustainable at that division, then you need to combine with other divisions.
Right.
And maybe create some JV programs, do things like that for those other smaller schools, or combine. Everybody else is combined, just combine.
Hey, you've got all your names now are hyphenated. You got 3 teams, 4 teams all combining together. Yeah.
The city of Manchester, all 3 schools are combined in girls hockey.
Yeah.
So our largest city in the state has 3 combined schools for girls hockey. So I think the formula is out there. It's just when there's not enough teams, just think outside the box a little bit. And to your point, Charlie, maybe move some of those teams from Division 2 down. And go to 2 divisions. I know there was discussion about it. I don't think it's passed, which is a shame because, the team that we played that had 6 kids, the chances that they're going to actually put a team together are pretty slim next year. And so now you're down to 8 teams or 7 teams. And is it really a division at that point?
The other thing too that people don't talk about, and I know you think about this as a coach, we'll use Kingswood as an example. You guys went to the semifinals. Berlin is now in the semifinals as well. You guys haven't played for like 12 days. Like it'll
be 11 days off.
Yeah, you aren't playing. I know you're practicing, but you're not playing hockey. You're not in the rhythm. You're not in the groove. I mean, there's something to be said about. Yeah, it's great to get the bye, but I mean, you pretty much had like an entire vacation like off, and that's not always a good thing.
Do you know what else we didn't get a chance to do as a 2 seed? We didn't get a chance to host a game because we automatically went to the semifinals. We didn't get that, and I'm a big fan of school sports ahead of AAU, and we talked about that too, that there's something different about playing in front of your classmates and to get that crowd and that all kind of stuff. You go to an AAU game or, any kind of thing, there's the only people in the stands are the parents.
Right.
And so not missing out, even you earned it. You have earned it. You get the 2nd seed, you've earned a home playoff game, and not getting that is disappointing. And I think that, again, I'm going to go back to our boys and my daughter. When they were able to host playoff games, it was the highlight of the season. The whole school came out, signs, the whole 9 yards. We saw the girls' game that you did the other day when Kingswood hosted that game. And the crowd was there, the signs were there, the energy was there, and it was awesome for those girls to do that. And you can't do that when you get buys into the semifinals or there's just not enough teams. So I would like them to start looking at this. Not that they will, but maybe they're listening right now. Who knows?
Yeah. Speaking of high school sports, just wanted to give a quick update. Last week we talked about Concord Christian Academy and their basketball programs, the boys and girls. Unfortunately, the number 2 seed Concord Christian Academy boys, they ended up losing in the semifinals to Littleton. But the girls, the Concord Christian Academy girls, are still alive. They advanced to the semifinals. Remember, the girls are the number 4 seed. And on Monday night, they're playing the number 1 seed in the semifinals, Bedford. So the quest for 4 championships in 4 years for Concord Christian Academy girls is still there. It's
4
exciting.
years in 4 different divisions.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would, you talk about dynasties. We talked about dynasties last week. That's a dynasty.
That's a dynasty.
And you know what I would like to know, and maybe we could look at this, Charlie. We said we were going to reach out to somebody over at Concord Christian to see if we can get them on the show. But is there anybody on the team that was there from the beginning?
Right. Good question.
That was there, that picked up the Division 4.
I want to say, sorry to interrupt. I want to say yes, because in Division 4, 8th graders can play at the varsity level. So there's a good chance that there was an 8th grader that's, that there or a freshman, whatever. But yes, so I bet there is still someone on that team that has the potential to win 4 championships.
In 4 divisions.
Yes.
It's in 4 divisions, which is something else.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about the Bruins stuff, but we can get to that when we come back. But we do want to mention there's a big doubleheader on the Pulse today. The Bruins are at Tampa Bay at 2:30 pregame, 3:05 puck drop. That would be I'm not even going to go all the names because there's so many names that are no longer playing for the Bruins. We'll save that for afterwards. And then big tilt today. Lakers at the Celtics. LeBron James coming to town, and he was in the news, and he's going to be the topic of our trivia question and everything else that happened to LeBron this week. So when we come back, more Mike in the House.
News, information, and discussion. This is 107.7 WTPL.
Hello, Jack Heath here, inviting you to join me October 7th in America's cowboy country with Colette. Grab your Stetson hat and saddle up for an adventure in the great American West.
Show me the world. Come away with me.
We'll see the magnificent sights, including Yellowstone National Park, the world's first national park, famous for its geysers, hot springs, and incredible wildlife, including free-ranging herds of buffalo. Visit amazing Grand Teton National Park, rugged Badlands National Park, Mount Rushmore, and more. Paulette covers all the details, from your flights to meals to hotels, sightseeing, and local experiences. Your only job is you have to have the time of your life. Don't miss your chance to join me in America's cowboy country. Call 800-581-8942 or visit thepulseofnh.com to learn more. That number again is 800-581-8942.
Hi, I'm Tom Connors. Went to Mark Patrick's hypnosis seminar February 6, 2019. Nothing worked before. Left there and never smoked again. Amazing. Easy, affordable, and guaranteed. A year later, with my wife Michelle, attended Mark Patrick's weight loss seminar. She lost 18 pounds and I lost 43 in 8 weeks.
It's true. He smoked 2 packs a day and nothing worked until Mark Patrick Hypnosis. Now we're losing weight together, eating healthy, full on half the food. Crazy. Enjoying exercising. Who would have believed Mark Patrick Hypnosis really works?
It's amazing. I can breathe again. My blood pressure went down and I've got so much energy.
So much energy.
And look great.
Join Mark Patrick Seminar's early bird special, only $49.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings. Seminar Sunday, March 9th. The Centennial Hotel in Concord. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Or Monday, March 10th. Best Western Plus Landmark in Laconia. Weight loss seminar 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
Hey, it's Frank from Capital Craftsman and Romance Jewelers. My wife calls me Battery Boy, and I can't stand it.
Is this really how you're going to start the radio commercial?
Cheryl, maybe instead of talking about myself and watch batteries, we should be talking about all the inventory you keep buying for the store. You do know what the word excessive means, right?
I just can't help it. We need everything for everyone. Silver and gold jewelry, diamonds and fun jewelry. We also have pottery, Simon Pierce, wind chimes, puzzles, and so much more.
We have one of the largest selections of jewelry and handcrafted gifts in central New Hampshire. I, on the other hand, have a wife with a buying issue.
Yes, Frank, but our customers love it.
Capital Craftsman and Romance Jewelers, 16 North Main Street, downtown Concord. Same quality, same service, next generation.
We want to be your family jeweler.
Follow Capital Craftsman on capitalcraftsman.com.
Get in touch with the show anytime at thepulseofnh.com and on the free to download Pulse of NH app. Now, back to Mike and the Haas on the Pulse of New Hampshire.
Mike and the Haas, sports talk classics in New England Magic, broadcast fantastic. Wolfboro crew where the echoes scream. Fathers, coaches, chasing the dream.
Like I said, the only place for rap in New Hampshire is Mike and the Haas right now. All right, Charlie, let's get to trivia because we have a lot to talk about after trivia. And trivia this week's brought to you by the Smoke Show Barbecue House.
Yes, Smoke Show Barbecue. Get yourself a gift card. Smoke Show Barbecue, located at 231 South Main Street in Concord, New Hampshire, serves up the Southern style barbecue with a New England twist. Known for its cool vibe and friendly staff, the restaurant offers classic barbecue favorites like ribs, brisket, pulled pork, and turkey, alongside delicious sides like mac and cheese, collard greens, and homemade cornbread. Mike and the Haas and the dog are going to be going there for lunch on the 22nd. So if you want to stop down to see us, if you win this gift card, you can do that. All right, here we go. Trivia, 603-228-2080. That's 603-228-2080 for a Smoke Show Barbecue gift card. LeBron James is the NBA leading scorer. Who is in second place? LeBron James is the NBA leading scorer. Tell us who is in second place. 603-228-2080. That's 603-2080 to win a gift card from the Smoke Show Barbecue.
So LeBron was in the news all week for different reasons. And he scored his 50,000th point this week, which prompted our trivia question, which I think normally if you were more of a well-liked player, not that he's hated, but if you were more of a well-liked player, that would have been celebrated. I mean, it was a blip. He was even a blip on ESPN, and they carry basketball quite a bit. It was like an afterthought. And we've talked about LeBron. LeBron's not a bad person. LeBron has not done anything that you would define him as a bad person. Right. He's, by all accounts, a good family man. He hasn't gotten no scandals, no gambling things, drugs, whatever. but he's still a douche, and I don't know how else to explain that. He just is, and he always has been. And so there's this thing that surrounds him that people don't want to get on board with LeBron.
Right.
What he did after, we're going to go to Mike from Loud in a second. He did after he scored the 50,000s later in the week is one of the reasons why people then celebrate his 50,000s. But let's get an answer to the trivia first. Mike from Loudon has an answer. Mike, who is the second place scorer in NBA history?
I say Carl the Mailman Malone.
Oh, Mike, no, it's not. It's not Karl Malone. No. But Mike, before we let you go, do you have an opinion? How do you feel about LeBron James?
Amazing, best player ever. I gotta say that. I don't like some of his politics, but amazing player. And I do want to say I'm about to get in my car to go to Colby Sawyer College to see Grofton, my high school, take on Littleton in the Division IV girls game. So shout out to the Purple Eagles, and yeah, LeBron's the best.
Right on. Hey, thanks
All
for
right.
listening to the show. Thanks for
Mike.
calling, and enjoy the game, Mike. Enjoy the game this afternoon. I hope your team wins.
Thank you much.
All right. Take care.
LeBron has had an amazing basketball career. I would disagree with Mike that I don't think he's the best ever. I think that still falls with Jordan. But
Well, that's a
he's
great.
had
Hold on. That's a great topic for us someday. We can debate it out. Is it LeBron? Is it Michael Jordan? Is it Magic Johnson? Who knows?
The greatest player of the 21st century. LeBron's of the 21st century, but overall, I think it's Jordan. But LeBron is the greatest of the century.
But I think greatest player and greatest career are two different things, and I think that's where LeBron has put together a resume that might give him the greatest career. When you think about 50,000 points and being relevant into his 40s, starting at 18, and everything he's done for basketball, but basketball hasn't necessarily thrived with him as the face of the NBA, and I think it has to do with more about LeBron than anything else. But let's get to it because we're
disagree on that.
Okay.
TV deals are now, they just billion, you know what I mean? It's a global game. It's even more global than it's ever been. I think you can attribute that probably to the dream team of the 90s. However, we're just keep on going into the future. And, Nikola Jokic last night, the first time ever in the history of the NBA, what was it? 30, 20, 20, 30 points, 20 rebounds, 20 assists. I don't think that's ever happened before in the history of the NBA where one player has done 30, 20, 20.
If you take a look at what basketball was in the early 80s and then compare it to what it was in 2000, the rise of NBA basketball during that period is greater than the rise of basketball in the last 25 years. And so that's where I'm saying that I think the game itself kept growing. I don't think that necessarily LeBron should get credit for that. I think that I don't think it was a LeBron centric league. I'm going there. I just don't think that was that great face of the NBA to do that, like a Jordan was, like a Magic was.
Post Y2K. We're in post Y2K, so you didn't have the Jordan. Well, I mean, Jordan played a couple more years just to stuff it to Jerry Krause and the Bulls. That's the only reason why he came back, and he did because the Wizards were better than the Bulls the 2 years he played. But yeah, I see Kobe was also, I think, instrumental in that as well. Part of the 2K. His legacy certainly now lives on more now that he's deceased. But I see your point.
Let's add a little flavor to this whole LeBron talk, though. Let's talk about what happened with Stephen A. Smith. I don't know if you guys.
Do you want to do it? You got it. No, you got
all
it.
right. Yeah. So the other day, Stephen A. Smith was sitting courtside, and he had an interaction with LeBron James, and they showed all these videos and everything, and then finally Stephen A. Smith yesterday said really what the gist of the conversation was about is LeBron was challenging Stephen A. Smith to say, leave my son Bronny alone. Stop talking about him. I'm sick and tired of you talking about him because we know that Bronny is, he's really not an NBA caliber player. He's not he doesn't put up the points. He's there because of his father.
He's in the gym.
Yeah, right. And so LeBron was pretty fired up with Stephen A. Smith, and they had this interaction, and it just kind of, for me, and I'll let you guys speak about this, but for me, it just kind of shows a little bit more about LeBron. Like, LeBron, the only reason why this kid is on the team is because of you. If LeBron James wasn't his father, he probably would still be in the G League somewhere. He wouldn't be on an NBA court. And Bronny, by the way, what's he, 20 years old? He's an adult. He's a professional athlete. He should be talking for himself, not having dad speak on his behalf when you're an adult and a professional. What say you guys?
Well, I think LeBron wants his cake and to eat it too. Is that the right? I think that's the right one. He got him in the NBA. He really got him in the NBA. To your point, Bronny wouldn't be there. He was averaging 3 points a game for USC. He would not be there if it wasn't for LeBron. LeBron wanted to be the first father-son duo, and he made it about LeBron. They put him on the Lakers. Amazingly, they get him on the Lakers as a draft pick, a second-round draft pick. Signed the contract for $8 million, so he's getting paid as a professional, and he's getting minutes when he shows. He's actually pretty successful in the G League. He averages like 22 in the G League. So. Yeah. He obviously can play basketball, but he is way overmatched when he gets to the NBA games, and it's obvious. And Charlie, you and I, the three of us talked about this when he was drafted, that this is not fair to Bronny.
Right.
Him being there is not fair to Bronny, and this is proving true. Now, LeBron doesn't want him criticized, and I think Stephen A. Smith was completely within the right on what he said. He said this kind of looks – this doesn't look good for Bronny. He's not an NBA player. He doesn't look good. He's averages less than a point a game. Yeah. And this stemmed off of him getting 15 minutes in a game the other night for the Lakers, and looked like, not like me or you would look out there, but it was very obvious that, guys that go out there and you think that they're all out there. And remember like Taco Fall. Remember Taco Fall for the Celtics? And he was like a cult favorite. But when he went on the court, besides him being 8 feet tall, it didn't look like he belonged. Yeah. He didn't have the ball skills. It didn't look like he belonged. And on a smaller scale, that's what Bronny is. And like anybody else would, he's got called out for it. And LeBron, in only the way that LeBron can, made it about himself.
Exactly. And that's a good point, Mike, because it's always about LeBron. Everything that LeBron does, it's about LeBron. We talked back when Bronny was playing AAU. LeBron's out there in the warm up,
in the layup drill, layup drill.
So it's all about LeBron. That's what it comes back to.
He can't help himself, and I think stemming back to what we were talking about, the 50,000 points and why that wasn't overly celebrated, it's because of that. It's just LeBron gives you just like kind of this kind of feel to it, and I don't know if that emulates over the microphone, but it's just kind of like, God, LeBron, stop. Yeah. But anyway, before we go to break, Charlie, let's read the trivia one more time because that's still out there.
Yeah, absolutely. So we know that LeBron James is the all-time leading scorer in the NBA with 50,000 points. But I want to know Mike and I want to know who is the second place? Who is in second place? We've ruled out Karl Malone. So who is the second place all-time kind of leading scorer in the NBA? 603-228-2080, 603-228-2080 for a gift card to the Smoke Show Barbecue.
And we should mention once again that the Lakers are in town. Lakers are playing the Celtics. You can listen to that tonight, the pregame at 8 o'clock, 8:35 tip-off. And it's not just the LeBron Lakers, it's the Luka Doncic Lakers too. And they've won 8 in a row. So this is a real game.
It's the first time, guys, since 1985 that at this late in the season that the Celtics and the Lakers were basically essentially tied. They're both the 2 seed. They've been this good this far along. 1985, guys, 40 years. Wow. Since we've had the 2 and the 2, the Lakers and the Celtics, this late in the season in March, duking it out. And tonight, the rivalry is back.
It is, and this is a potential finals preview. With Luka, the Lakers have completely changed with Luka Doncic, and so this is a potential finals preview. So, all right, we'll be right back.
107.7 WTPL, the pulse of New Hampshire.
At Crossroads Chiropractic, we believe you deserve more than a guess. That's why we do a careful examination before we adjust. On your first visit, we'll take a history and strive to understand your concerns and determine the best course of care, which may include taking x-rays when they're necessary. That's one reason we've been voted best chiropractor year after year. Misalignments in the spine are called subluxations and can happen from slips, falls, car accidents, poor posture, and even the birth process. These shifts can cause secondary conditions like sciatica, neck pain, digestive problems, allergies, asthma, colic, low back pain, headaches, and more. Because subluxations can happen at any age, we adjust tiny newborns to seniors and everyone in between. Our mission is to create a healthier community through natural chiropractic care. Life really is better when you're well adjusted. Come experience it for yourself. This month, a complete examination with any necessary x-rays is just $59 with 4 locations in Pembroke, Meredith, Epping, and Bedford. Call us at 603-575-9080 or find us on the web at crossroadschiropractic.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Protect your home and auto with a bundle from Progressive so you can stop worrying about them and invent new things to worry about, like snakes in your bedroom. Sure, that sounds incredibly irrational, but now that we've mentioned it, you are a little worried. The odds of one snake, let alone snakes plural, are so slim. But you might want to check. Oh, you're not near your bedroom. Guess you'll just have to sit there and worry about it. So let Progressive protect your home and auto, because you've got enough to worry about. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
You're listening to the Granite State's own Mike and the Hoss on the Pulse of New Hampshire.
Mike and the Hoss on the radio waves. Teachers by day, coaches making plays. Sports talking kings of Wolf Fibaro Town. Husbands, fathers, where heroes are found.
Much better. Much better. I'm going to speed this along because we don't have a lot of time left. And what could be the greatest, if you're listening in Concord, one of the greatest coincidences ever, Jen has a answer for the trivia from Tamworth. Jen, what's the answer to our trivia question?
I'm going to go with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
You are correct,
Very,
Jen.
very good. And if you're listening to the online feed or if you're listening in the Concord area, we just had a commercial with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and talking about AFib. And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Well done, Jen.
Yeah, stay on the line, Jen. Yeah, thanks for listening to the show. We appreciate you. And Doug will get your information and enjoy the Smoke Show barbecue. And if you want to hang out with Mike and the Hoss, March 22nd, put it on your calendar. We'll be there for lunch.
All righty.
All right. Thanks, Jen.
Thanks, Jen. A quick Celtics moment, and then we got to get to the Bruins because we keep putting them off. The Celtics played very shorthanded this week, and they actually did really well. There was a game that they didn't have Tatum, didn't have Brown, didn't have Porzingis, and it was Derek White and Peyton Pritchard who both set a record, an NBA record for scoring. And I started thinking that, is Derek White really, could he possibly be the real MVP of the Celtics? He does whatever he needs to do for the Celtics to win. And
the guy he lost his tooth again last night. You know, it came popping out. He does it all. He does it all. Anything he's asked, you're right, Mike. Anything he is asked to do, Derek White does.
And we compared him to Marcus Smart when that whole thing happened, and that Derek White will go for 28 one night if they need him to go for 28. Right. But the next night, he'll go for 3 because he'll only take 3 shots and he'll just distribute the rest of the whole game and play defense. Yeah. This week might have solidified it. He might be my favorite Celtics player at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. It's the guy he's just there and he does everything that the team needs. Not what they ask him to do, what the team needs. He's such a leader on the court. And he seems to like balance everybody out. He doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. Seems to be very balanced. And maybe he's the key as far as Peyton Pritchard. I know you're a Pritchard fan, so he had a good week also.
Of course. But also, I mean, one of the things, Derek White kind of reminds me a little bit of kind of Ray Allen-esque too, back in the day. There's just something about like Ray Allen was just kind of that chill, cool, whatever you need. If you need me to go out there and hit, 10 3-point shots, I will. If you need me to, do 8 or 9 assists, I'll take care of that as well too. Just it was great. Yeah, I love Derek White. You're right. And Peyton Pritchard. These Celtics are actually blessed. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are blessed to have such great teammates because these guys make them better.
When healthy, the Celtics are the strongest starting 5 in the NBA. There might be better players out there, but they have the strongest starting 5 in the NBA. All right, it would be radio malpractice if we didn't talk about the Bruins this week because the Bruins made a crap load of moves. We thought they would, and the biggest move, obviously, is they traded Brad Marchand to the Florida Panthers yesterday, which was our poll question of the week. And overwhelmingly on X, he should have been traded. Overwhelmingly on Facebook, he shouldn't have been traded, which was interesting. It's just demographics, I guess. Did the Bruins do what they should have done? I mean, I guess I kind of know it's rhetorical because we talked about it last week. Are you surprised? Maybe this is a better way. Are you surprised at the level of cleaning house that they did?
I'm not surprised. I mean, I was one of those votes on Facebook that said no, they should keep Marchand, and I had talked about that last week on the show. And part of the reason is because I'm old, and he's been with the Bruins for so long, and I just I love him, and you hate to see them move on from a player that has impacted the team so much. That being said, they needed to do it. It was time for him to move on. It was time for the rest of the players that they traded to move on. I think the Bruins did the right thing, clean house, because they're not competitive this year, and playoffs are not in their future, so they need to rebuild.
This was interesting because I was surprised that they did this because I think the only way that Sweeney keeps his job is if they made the playoffs. But
yeah,
they cleaned house. They got rid of any chance that they have making the playoffs. They're in 13th place right now. Those playoff dreams are over unless something weird happens. And the Bruins have historically, if you don't make the playoffs, that's when they make changes. If you don't get playoff tickets, that's when they make the changes. So is Sweeney gone now? Is he part of the cleaning house?
I think he'll be gone at the end of the season. Yes.
So do you think that it was his call to make these trades, or did that call come from above him?
No, Don Sweeney wasn't making that decision. That was definitely from above. Yeah.
Okay.
So he's just the voice. He was the voice for it because of his position. But could you imagine, why would you, if you're Don Sweeney, why would you clean house? You're going to lose your job. The only option would be to keep these guys in place to try to make it or try to limp into the playoffs. So no,
I don't necessarily think it's the last time you're going to see Brad Marchand in a Bruins uniform. He's a free agent. He really didn't want to go. I mean, he made that very clear. He didn't want to go. Yeah. Sweeney said they couldn't come to an agreement on contract. Marchand's going to get, he's going to get signed as a third line kind of player. He's coming back.
Yeah.
Next October, Brad Marchand will be. I don't know if he's going to be the captain. I think that was obviously a struggle for him, and the team did not do well with him as the captain. But I could see him coming back as a role player. He's still one of the, as far as power play and penalty kill, he's still one of the best in the NHL right now. So
yeah, and obviously he's not healthy right now. So the Panthers are coming to the Garden on Tuesday night. I mean, we're not going to see Marchand skating Tuesday night, but Marchand has a chance to win a cup with the Panthers. I mean, this is crazy.
Yeah. No, and I think that it's going to soften the blow that we'll never see Marchand in a Florida uniform against the Bruins.
Right.
Because the Bruins aren't making the playoffs. Marchand's not coming back until the playoffs, and he's not going to re-sign with Florida afterwards. So I don't think you're going to have to worry about that. But yeah. But to your point, Charlie, it's disappointing. Whenever the heroes go, and this is Bork-ish. It's not Bork. It's not Bork, but it's Bork-ish. When he signed with Colorado, which I think was in '99, he signed with Colorado. Does that make sense?
2000.
It's 2000, yeah. And then he went on to win a cup.
And it was like, we're not trading you to a divisional rival. We're going to trade. We're getting you out of here. You're going to the left coast, my friend. So.
Yeah. No. I mean, it's kind of the same way I felt, Mike. Not over Marchand, but with Bork. It's the same way I felt when Joe Montana left the 49ers. It's just like, what? How can that be? So
yeah, but he was getting pushed out. That was a little bit different. He was getting pushed out at the time, so I don't think it was quite the same. All right. Dog's waving at us, so that's going to do it for us. Congratulations to Jen and Tamworth for winning trivia. Mike and the Hoss will be back for more Mike and the Hoss next Saturday on the Pulse of New Hampshire. Have a great day.